Hello and welcome to the Feminine Millionaire Show. I'm your host, Polly Alexander. I'm a success coach, healer, creative, and future millionaire. If creating money and success in a spiritual and feminine and joyful way is your goal, this show is for you. Let's all rise together. I think you're going to really enjoy today's special episode. It's not an interview and it's not a solo episode. It's a recording of a real life client session. This is me going deep with my client on healing the pattern of self-sabotage and bad things happening when she expands and grows. In this session, we explore the patterns that have led to blocks to moving forwards. When we feel that we don't deserve something good, we either have to get rid of it or do something to earn it or feel we deserve it. It's like we have to balance out that unworthiness. So you might have experienced this if you've had a bonus or a pay rise or a big month, and then you've immediately manifest some expenses. Or maybe you have experienced feeling guilty when you make a big sale or you have a big month or your life's going really well. And you feel like you've got to earn it or deserve it. We go deep into these patterns, and this session touches on ancestral beliefs, past lives, inherited collective beliefs, the relationship with the mother, and how to heal generational patterns of guilt, hardship, sadness, and unworthiness of ease and good. I'm really grateful to my client for allowing me to share this with you. It contains a wealth of insights, and I hope you are ignited by today's episode. Before you dive into today's episode, I have a couple of ways I'd like to share with you how I can support you. And the first way is a free upcoming training that's happening on Monday, the 3rd of April. It's a live training, and I'll be pulling back the curtain on exactly how I doubled my monthly income over and over again, and how my clients use this approach to grow with more ease and to make quantum leaps themselves. It's called Practical Magic, the Money Multiplier. You can sign up with the link in the show notes. And it's for you if you're a coach, a healer, a creative, or a well-being expert who's got the desire to hit 6 or multiple 6 figures of revenue, and you want to learn expert mindset and scaling strategies that will allow you to grow in a really soulful and aligned way. More details at the link in the show notes. And the doors to Thrive Beautifully, my business, mindset, and money mastermind for women entrepreneurs, are now open for a limited time. Go to thrivebeautifully.com to read more and apply for an interview. It's an incredibly powerful container where magic happens, miracles happen, big leaps forward happen. People have grown tremendously with their businesses in this powerful and unique container that combines business and energy work. And you can go to thrivebeautifully.com to find out more. Now let's dive into today's episode.
The pattern I've observed is that, like, say I'll be getting really healthy, like when I lived in New York, and then I'll fall and break my foot. Or, a couple years ago, I was getting real healthy. Everything was going great. And then I fell and broke my wrist. And then, things are going well like they did, this year. And then, I had this stuff with my tenants and had to evict them, and they trashed the house and all that. So it's almost like, I don't know if it's like a form of punishment or kind of self-regulating, like, okay, I've had it too good. Time to, bring in some other. And then two, I've had in the past, and this is sound kind of weird, but like I'll have something bad happen, but then after it, like tremendous growth. Like my cat died years ago, and then I got this incredible new job out of nowhere. So kind of like I have to have bad things happen to get good things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's kind of the same pattern, but showing up in two different ways.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. I
Like you
thought,
can't have the good without some bad to accompany it.
yeah, yeah,
And if it
exactly.
didn't happen first, then it's going to happen after.
Exactly. And it's like I'm kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop. I feel like sometimes. And kind of what was funny, like the other day with the storm on Friday, we had the bad storms. Just my area was really hit. Just me and my neighbor lost all these trees. Nobody else that much. People lost power, but it's kind of like, oh my God, am I drawing this to me? And that's my thing that I really want to find out.
Okay, so this is going to be interesting. I was already getting stuff come through before the session.
Oh wow, cool.
There's definitely ancestral stuff here.
It felt like it. It did.
Do I have your permission to tune in?
Sure, sure.
So you'll hear me writing. I'm just writing down what's
Okay.
coming through. Yeah, this is really interesting because I'm not getting anything childhood coming up.
Oh
There may
wow.
well have been, but I think you've done a lot of work.
I think so. Yeah, I think we have.
So what's showing up now is ancestral. And I think some past life for you as well. I'm definitely seeing you as a soldier. You're wearing it's almost medieval. You're wearing a silver like coat of armor.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of energy of battle, of
Mm.
having to fight for what's yours and fight for victory.
Yeah, I could see that. And it's funny, my husband likes to watch all these war shows. And when they get to the battle scenes, I'm like, ugh, just fast forward. I just it's like that fighting and that just working so hard. So yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting because when we're repelled by something or triggered
hmm
by something, sort of that's out of our normal experience, like that, right? We know you haven't personally been at war in this lifetime.
hmm
But when we are sort of repelled by something or triggered by something, it can often be because of past life or ancestral
hmm
pieces being awakened in us. So on some
hmm
deep subconscious level, we're like, oh, I can't bear that. I can't be around that. But we don't really consciously understand why.
Oh, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, because when we went to all the places in England, like Battle Abbey and stuff, I was like, oh, get me out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
get
think
me
it's
out.
reawakening past life
I think so.
memories.
I think so. And I have, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I could see that.
I'm seeing you like as this man about 35 in this coat of armor and battle, and it was a pretty bleak life. Bleak is the word I'm getting.
Yeah.
I think it may even have been in England because I'm seeing very grey skies,
That's England.
a lot of rain.
That's England.
Yeah. Let's test a couple of limiting beliefs around this past life. So if you have your muscle testing available,
Sure. Sure. Okay.
I have to fight for victory.
I have to fight for victory. Yes. Big yes. Big yes.
Winning is difficult.
Winning is difficult. Actually, I gotta know.
Okay. Okay, good. I have to fight for what is mine.
I have to fight for what is mine. Big yes.
Yeah.
Big yes.
And I know that you've experienced some disputes over land, property, possessions in your
Yeah.
lifetime.
Mhm.
And that has the energy of having to fight for what is rightfully yours.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if there's anything else. Life is hard.
Life is hard. Actually, I gotta know.
Uh-huh, good,
Yeah.
good. I think the main one that's coming through is this: I have to fight for victory and have to
Hmm.
fight for what is mine. It's the idea you can have victory, which is good things, but you've got to fight for it. You've got to go through some hardships, some struggles, some toil, some strife.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting because when I do the thing and make it easy and things happen easily, it feels so good. And it's like, wow, that just feels so great. But I think my default is that having to fight hard, you know?
Yeah.
And then sometimes, that's why I get, I don't know, tired when I think about like derby season or big hat season or being busy. I'm like, oh, it's going to take so much energy. I'm going to have to fight so hard, So
So your
that's,
mind defaults to this is going to be difficult. This is going to
yeah,
be
it
hard.
does. It does. And then it ends up being so much easier than I thought. But it defaults to that. Yeah. Which actually puts out that. So, yeah.
Well, it means you're putting yourself through a lot more emotional
Yeah.
sort of mental turmoil because it actually turns out okay, but you're going
Yeah.
through this intense emotional stress
Yeah.
that's anticipatory that never bears out. But you
Yeah, it
put
does
yourself
not.
through it and then it's okay.
I know.
And so I
Yeah.
wonder what it would be like if you didn't have to go through that.
Yeah. It would be nice, but yeah, I mean, it would be nice, but there's something about it, it would feel like, oh, this is so easy. What's wrong? Like, what's wrong? What piece is missing? Kind of
Okay, let's dive into that piece and before we come and clear some of those beliefs.
thing.
So the but that you said then, yeah, I mean, that would be his but. What's
Yeah.
the but?
Someone's like, but gosh, that's too easy, or what's wrong? Okay, if it's so easy, what's wrong? What's going to pop out? Like,
Okay, if it's
yeah.
easy, so what could pop out?
Maybe unexpected problems, unexpected delays, but then you can never control what your delays or problems are. I think it's the unknown, maybe, liking to be in control. And then there's the unknown and feeling like on edge about that, maybe.
Will you check a belief for me?
Mhm.
If it's easy, it's too good to be true.
If it's easy, it's too good to be true. Actually, I'm in the middle. I didn't get a yes or no.
Okay,
No.
there's something around this.
I think that is, though. I mean, it's like, because you always hear the things, oh, easy money is too good to be true. Like if somebody promises you this really great thing, that's too good to be true. What do they really want?
So there's something about a hidden agenda.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah. I had an agenda. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, let's tune into that. Just check, I fear hidden agendas.
I fear hidden agendas. Yes.
Okay.
It's like yes.
And what if someone had a hidden agenda? You have a great, easy experience, say in a business event,
Hmm.
and then someone has a hidden agenda. What's the
Yeah.
worst that could happen?
Yeah. I don't think it would be bad because it's like if I had the good experience, the hidden agenda wouldn't hurt that. It would just be their hidden agenda. Doesn't have anything to do with me.
What if they wanted something from you?
It might be feeling beholden to them or
Mm,
yeah, like beholden.
yeah, there's something there,
Hmm.
feel around owing somebody.
Yeah.
It's like a limit on how much you can receive.
Hmm.
That's what I'm picking up.
Okay. Yeah, that feels right for some reason when you said that.
What I'm going to do is start by going back and clearing these pieces. from the past life in battle. I have to fight for victory and I have to fight for what is mine. So we're going
Mhm.
to clear that fighting battle energy first, and then we'll move on to this receiving piece.
Okay.
Because they're along the scale. So first of all, is this idea that you have to fight to get things, fight to
Yeah.
get good things. And then
Yeah.
I think there's a limit on what you can receive afterwards.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Okay, so I'm going to go in with some energy work. So let's just call forth this past life as a soldier in battle.
Hmm.
And he's telling me he has no choice. So it feels like this duty.
Hmm.
Well, I'm getting the word you just used, which is interesting, beholden.
Hmm.
Nothing to do with his family. It was his duty to go into battle to defend the kingdom or their land. So it
Hmm.
feels like he didn't really have a choice. This was his duty.
Hmm.
And he feels very heavy,
Hmm.
bleak.
Hmm.
It's not what he wanted to be doing.
Hmm.
I'm seeing him on guard, and it's very dark and it's very cold. And he seems to be standing there for long periods of time.
Hmm.
So there's a kind of endurance energy.
Hmm.
I've
Hmm.
got to endure this. Got to endure all this hardship to get to the victory.
Yeah, and it's interesting because sometimes that's how I feel about my racing season. Like, oh, I've got to deal with March and April, and then I get to the victory in May when it's all done. And I want to enjoy the process more.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's like the process has to be hard. You've got to endure
Yeah.
hardship, and then you're allowed to have the gold cup.
Yeah, exactly. Like last night I was working and my back was sore when I went to bed. And I was like to my husband, leave me alone. I gotta work. I gotta work. So
Yeah. So putting yourself through this hardship and this toil and this pushing, this
yeah,
stress in order
yeah,
to get to the good stuff.
yeah, exactly. Hmm.
Mm. Can you check the belief for me? I have to work hard for success.
To work hard for success. Yeah, big yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's go back to this soldier.
Hmm.
So first of all, we're going to send a healing
Oh,
to release the strife and the hardship because it feels like it's in the cells, in the DNA, this exhaustion.
yeah, it does. And it's funny. A lot of times I'll get diagnosed with the adrenal fatigue or burnout at the beginning of the season, just because I think it's, yeah, just that exhaustion. Yeah.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So let's pull this exhaustion out of your cells that you've inherited from this past life. Releasing the cellular memories of fighting, of battle to get to victory, of endurance, of having to endure difficult things, long hours,
Mhm.
difficult conditions.
Mhm.
Just really getting this image of this man being alone in work as well, like a sentry man
Oh,
guarding,
that's funny because that's like me with my hat so much. Like I'm alone working.
right? So
Yeah,
let's release some of this
I like that.
feeling that you have to endure aloneness
Mhm.
in order to get to victory or in order to do the right thing.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm standing as you're doing this, and I'm having lots of pops and cracks as I move. I'm
Mm,
trying to like move it out and kind of move my feet and everything. And I'm having a lot of like interior shifts, you
yeah.
know? Yeah, lots of
This
pop.
is the energy release. These programs feel like they're very deep in your cells.
Yeah,
And this
I think
exhaustion,
too.
this endurance.
Hmm.
And I know from working with you on an ongoing basis, this is a piece that's been coming up, this exhaustion.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So let's just send a lot of unconditional love into your physical body to release this old weariness,
Mhm.
exhaustion, tiredness.
Mhm.
And bringing in the new energy, vibrancy.
That's good.
And just send this energy to anywhere in your body that needs it. So sometimes when we do this work, a place can show up, can suddenly start aching
Mm-hmm.
or popping, as you said, or
Mm-hmm.
just allow this energy to go to anywhere that feels like depleted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it feels kind of in my hips and my pelvis. Yeah.
Yeah. And this area, the sacral chakra, the sacral area, this is also connected with birthing the new.
Mm-hmm.
And the examples you shared with me, like when you're getting ready for the season, when you're getting ready for your shows, this is all about birthing the new.
Mm-hmm. That's
So it
true.
feels like there's some kind of pain or blocked energy around birthing the new.
Mm.
And you shared at the beginning, whenever I get an up level in my health, things are going really well. Something sabotages it. Whenever, when you're trying to move forwards, if you find that things come up,
Mm-hmm.
this could be connected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the unexpected bills kind of thing. And yeah.
Let's send the energy to the pelvis, the hips, the sacral area. This area is responsible for birthing new ideas, new
Mm-hmm.
projects, creativity, new life.
Mm-hmm.
Just releasing any old energy, revitalizing this area.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm immediately taken to a woman in Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, this is you in a past life, and I feel like this is you're having your 11th child.
Ah,
You're like,
funny. I think that's why I didn't need any children in this life. So many before. Love it. And that's funny. I have all these friends that want to go to Ireland. I have no desire to go to Ireland. None.
right.
I'm sure it's a
Again,
beautiful place.
sometimes we are repelled by places we've had a difficult past life in.
Yeah.
It's like somehow we just have zero desire to go there, or we actively do not want to, but
Yeah.
for no explicable reason.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you definitely lived there before this lifetime. Yeah, you were quite poor.
Hmm.
You had a lot of children, and I think by the 11th one,
Hmm.
they're telling me that you died in childbirth. You were just so exhausted
Yeah.
and just so done with being this machine for birthing that I think yeah, you were done.
Gave up.
So let's
Yeah.
release the trauma of birthing new things.
Oh, yeah. It's funny because certain shows, when women die in childbirth, I always get so freaked out by that. I get so freaked out. I just, it stays with me and I just can't watch it. So that's interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cellular memory of
Yeah. Yeah.
this happening. This wisdom's deep in your cells.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's release the trauma of dying in childbirth. Because I think this is also related to just birth in general.
Yeah, I do too. And also creativity, the process
Yeah.
of being afraid to really let go or to really birth what I want to birth, you know? Yeah. That's real. And it's interesting because I think I wrote about that. I always play it very safe when I design. And on this line, it's like lots of color, like lots of bright, very vivid color. And I was like, well, this is just what I'm going to do because I feel I want to do it. And, if I don't, if it goes over, great. If it doesn't go over, I'm not going to starve to death. I'm not in the same position financially where I was before.
Yeah.
So it feels so good to be surrounded by these bright, happy colors, you know.
Mm,
Oh yeah. But then a little nervous. What are people gonna think? And I'm like, I don't even care what people think. But
yeah.
at a deep level, I do. You know, I can say
You're
that all
just
day long. So yeah, I
really
like that.
anchoring into your truth and trusting
Yeah.
that, bringing in
Yeah.
the energy of those bright colors that
Hmm.
you can trust
Yeah.
yourself.
Hmm.
And whenever we follow our truth,
Yeah.
it will always work out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like that about the birthing process and not being scared to birth and yeah. And kind of too being tired about birthing the same old thing, you know.
Yes.
So yeah, that's why I like new projects.
So let's tune back into the soldier because we've been on a bit of a journey through your past lives.
Hmm.
Let's test those beliefs that we got from him. So
Okay.
the first one is I have to fight for victory.
I have to fight for victory. Okay, I gotta know.
Good. I have to fight for what is mine.
I have to fight for what is mine. I gotta know.
Good.
Hmm.
Good. And let's just bring in some supporting beliefs around that. So, can the creator teach you what it feels like to win without struggle?
Okay, I like that. Okay, yeah, yes. I like that.
And let's release any vows or oaths to fight for your country, your land, your family.
Hmm.
Let's release any vows or oaths to battle until the end.
Oh, yes. Oh.
And there's this like energy of giving every bit of you that you've got, and you end up so depleted that you die anyway. It's that kind of
Yeah,
energy.
that is kind of, yeah, you end up so depleted that you go anyhow. Oh,
So
yeah.
let's just release the need to give away every tiny drop of your energy to
Yeah.
your mission, to your cause,
Hmm. I
to the
like that.
fight,
Hmm.
and bringing back some energy for you so that you get to reserve, hold on, be nourished by your own energy.
Hmm. I like that.
So I'm seeing an image of you opening a lovely wicker picnic basket. And you're taking it out and you're going, oh, that looks nice. You're giving yourself the strawberries and cream.
Oh, yeah.
I'll have some salmon sandwiches, and then you start to offer it round, and that's how we want it to be, so that you're nourishing yourself first.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that interesting? Because growing up, my mom would always like feed herself last and take like the worst piece of meat or whatever, or the worst, the bad piece of
Mm.
pie kind of thing. And I do that now a lot of times when I'm feeding people. Like, oh, I'll give them the really good stuff and I'll take the seconds. So,
I'll take the crumbs. Yeah,
like, yeah, I like that with feeding myself first.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So let's bring in permission to do that. And
Okay.
I think this is where we can expand this limit on you receiving.
Hmm.
So I'm seeing the image of the picnic basket again, and you opening it up
Hmm.
and you being like, oh, this looks good in here. And you being able to take it out and put it in front of you,
Hmm. Oh, I like that.
being able to help yourself. So let's release any guilt
Mhm.
around helping yourself to all the good in life.
Ah, definitely. Without a
Let's
doubt.
release the fear of anybody else's judgments. This is your mother showing up now.
Hmm.
When you have more than enough, when you have enough,
Hmm.
when you have a feast, they're showing me. They're using the analogy of food today. So
I love that. Feast.
let's bring in permission to feast, to be
Hmm.
nourished by your feast, to be filled
Mm.
up.
Mm. I like that.
To feed yourself first.
Yeah, it's interesting because kind of an analogy when I went to the nutritionist the other day and I did my list of what I ate, she's like, you just don't eat enough. She's like, you think you're dieting and you're eating well, but you're just not eating enough. So that's interesting about being afraid to
Mm.
eat and afraid to eat. like afraid to take it all in a way.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
So let's open up that ability to consume more of life because I think
Yeah.
food is a symbol,
Yeah, totally.
allowing more in and allowing yourself to be nourished.
hmm Yeah, that's a big thing that's come up with me in my journaling is allowing myself to be nourished and not nourishing myself enough
Mhm.
at a deep level, feeling that like it has to be hard.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
And this
Mm.
is where I'm picking up your mum again.
hmm
There feels like there's a lack of nourishment of you by her.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And so when we experience that, we experience the program. I'm not really on a very deep unconscious level, like I don't deserve nourishment or I've got enough. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
worthy of more.
definitely. Yeah. Yeah, like I can look at my clothes and I don't need any more. I'm like, "Oh, yes, you do if you're doing these events, you
Yeah.
need clothes. Yeah. So yeah.
And this is about allowing yourself more than just the crumbs, more than just the basic needs being met.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting when you did the thing about the ancestors because my husband's family worked on the potteries, in Stoke-on-Trent and came from there and came over to the US from there. But they had that mentality, of the crumbs and working so hard and just getting a little. And when I see their pictures now, I try to disconnect from that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
I think
interesting.
we'll come to the ancestral piece.
Yeah.
Let me just tune into the pieces we've done.
Oh.
I'm also getting to send this nourishing energy to your knees.
Oh, wow.
Legs and knees are about moving forwards. Just feels
Mhm.
like we need to send extra nourishment.
Mm. I like that. And sometimes I do have like hip issues and stiffness and
Yeah,
walking. Yeah, I like that. Moving forward. Mm.
just feeling that energy coming into your legs. Releasing the tiredness and exhaustion. And bringing in a new ease. And can we release the belief if it's easy, it's too good to be true?
Mm. I like that.
Let's release the fear of hidden agendas, of debt, of owing people.
Mhm.
Let's release the fear of being punished. This is very puritanical. And
Yeah.
going back to the Irish lifetime in church. We're back there again on a wooden pew in a
Oh
Catholic
God.
church.
Oh gosh. It's funny, this church I've gone to here is kind of old and it's got those wooden pews and oh, I hate those wooden pews. They're just like so uncomfortable. It's like sitting on a board. Oh, and it's interesting because they have a cemetery there, and a lot of the Irish are buried there. I hadn't even thought about that, but yeah,
Ah,
a lot of the old
they're
Irish.
following you. They're following you.
Yeah, the 1700s. Well, and I used to work with the band U2, back when I worked in the music business, and I dealt with a lot of the Irish. So that's funny, and I like them, but I don't know. Yeah, I've had some issues, so
Some
that's really
issues showed
fun.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's funny. I never thought of that. So that's really funny. Wow.
Hmm.
Wow. That's
There's
wild.
something we need to release around this Irish.
Yeah. That's so true.
Let's see what that is. So
Ooh.
it's the belief I have to suffer to get close to God,
Yeah.
or I have to suffer to be in heaven. You know, like
Yeah.
heaven meaning the good things in life, the bliss, the
Yeah.
joy, the peace of mind, the contentment.
Yeah.
And you got to suffer and be
Yeah.
uncomfortable to get there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So
Hmm.
can we release this program?
Oh, my God.
Putting the cords to this old pattern from both ancestral roots and
Mhm.
past life, that you have to suffer and struggle in order to be close to God, in order to receive all the good, in order to go to heaven. Let's release any rules and regulations imposed by the church systems. It's a way of trying to control people
Yeah.
by making them fear
Mhm.
receiving too much, having too much, things being too good.
Yeah.
Clear all of this programming.
Yeah, I
This,
always have a problem in sermons and stuff when I would hear people talk about that because it was like, oh gosh, you know, it's such a programming thing, I feel
yeah,
like.
it's a kind of has the energy of abundance is bad,
It does. And that
money
has,
is bad, happiness is bad.
yeah, and that has nothing to do with God, you know? I mean, that's just like the church, the church, But yeah.
So let's release this programming from yourselves, releasing all old rhetoric,
Wow.
dictations, rules, regulations, contracts imposed by the church. And this is also on a historical level as well, so very broadly clearing for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's interesting as you were doing that, I got like a deep ache in my lower spine and
Mm.
like in my spinal column, just like a deep ache. I can't describe it, but it's like bones, like the inside of the bones. Wow.
And if you were to ask what that is,
I get just a general tiredness of being told what to do, if that makes any sense. But yeah. Mhm.
yeah.
Or being made to feel bad. Yeah.
And I think this is a collective piece you're tapping into.
Yeah. Yeah.
People are fed up of being told what to do.
Beyond.
And made
Beyond.
to feel bad.
Totally. Oh, totally.
So
Oh,
let's release this energy and this belief that to be safe or secure, you've got to do as you're told.
yeah.
And let's just release this idea that God wants you to feel bad. God wants you to struggle. God wants you to suffer. Let's clear all of this.
Yeah. It's big.
And as you were doing earlier, if it helps to move your body around or move physically,
Oh.
to release this energy as it moves through you and leaves you, and just follow that
Okay.
impulse.
Mhm. Mm.
And so your husband's family are queuing up to the right.
That's funny because as I'm looking, they're in the room on the right. You're in the room.
They're there. Okay.
They're there. Nearly. They're there. Mhm. Yeah.
So
Mm.
they're telling me that they want to know that their efforts weren't in vain.
No, they weren't. They weren't at all. No. No,
How
they yeah, they did well
how
on here.
How have they helped you be where you are now?
Well, my husband's job helped fund my business, when it was struggling. And his dad, sent him to law school, and his dad was a doctor who, kind of made his way.
Hmm.
So their efforts helped. Yeah.
So this family that started off working in the potteries
Mhm.
managed to raise their status and their income to the place they could emigrate.
Yeah.
And then their family started becoming professionals,
Yeah.
doctors and lawyers.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's send some gratitude to those ancestors,
Mm,
their diligence and their hard work,
mm,
enabling your husband's family line to which you're now connected,
mhm,
energetically and by marriage.
mhm. Yeah.
But it's enabled his family line to evolve and prosper.
Mhm,
Just going to honor the contribution they made.
mhm. Yeah. Oh, mm, yeah.
So I'm seeing them sit down now and with their hands in their laps, they feel kind of satisfied.
Mm. Oh, that's good.
And they're saying it doesn't need to be difficult anymore for you.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
So let's release any way that you have been unconsciously self sabotaging or struggling is a
Mm-hmm.
way of honoring these ancestors.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting because sometimes in the readings or the clearings in the group, we talk about the ancestors and everything, and some of the ancestors really did struggle. So sometimes I feel guilty. Gosh, I have it so easy. I have a dishwasher. I have somebody to help me clean. I have a cleaner. I'm feeling a little like, wow, they had it. They had it hard. You know.
And I think that takes us to your family now
Yeah.
and this guilt.
Hmm.
It's like a survivor's guilt for having it so good.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
And it's particularly showing up on your mother's side.
Interesting you say that because my father's side was kind of, I don't want to say like the landed gentry, but they kind of were, they had inherited land and they took care of it. But my mother's side really struggled. They really, I had a lot of kids, poor, the mountains,
Yeah.
really struggled. Yeah.
Okay. So this is the guilt.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just tuning into them.
Mm-hmm.
There's a very vein of deep hardship there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And it was interesting when after my mom came into the money, at one level, it was a big deal. She fell and she shattered her ankle. And after that was in the 1989. So, I mean, she limped and had a bad, bad limp for the rest of her life, for the last 30 years of her life. And then my aunt is always falling and hurting herself, after she kind of came into money. So they have that. Yeah. Yeah. That very deep vein of hardship. Yeah.
So there's a connection here between when somebody receives good fortune or
Hmm.
fortune itself in the form of money or inheritance,
Hmm.
then there's some kind of unconscious punishment that goes on.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Hmm.
Just check for me if you have this belief.
Yeah.
I have to punish myself when things go well.
Well, I don't have to check that. I know that. I like bingo. Yeah, yeah, I do. I feel that. And I'll get stuff like when I'm working, I get little, nicks on my hand from the straw, or, like I'll stub my toe, but it's not just like stub my toe. Like, yeah, yeah, I do feel that. That's why I was worried about the flooding at the house and everything, if that wasn't, just like a punishment of myself at some level.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if I asked you, why do you have to punish yourself when things go well? What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Okay. Well, it's almost like a way of earning the good. Like I have to, or justifying the good. Like, okay, it wasn't that easy. See, I had to really work hard to get there, because it's
Yeah.
almost like if I say it's easy, then it's like, oh, well, you didn't really earn it, you know?
Yeah. And I think behind these mechanisms that you've developed to kind
Mm.
of justify the good or earn the good, I think
Yeah.
there's a deep pattern of not deserving.
Yeah. Very, very deep.
Because when we feel we don't deserve something, then we either got to get rid of it or we've got
Yeah.
to punish, like make ourselves earn it or do something
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Big time.
Or get rid of it, whatever the good is, because it's too troublesome for the unconscious. It says, okay, well, let's get rid of it. So that's when we manifest things like, broken down cars,
Yeah. Mhm.
laptop problems,
Yeah.
holes
Yeah.
in the roof.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Heat not working. Yeah. And I've had problems with my laptop lately. So yeah, that's funny.
And this belief, I don't deserve, well, I'm getting it. What's showing up is I don't deserve a good and easy life. And it's not showing up as your personal belief, it's actually showing up as an ancestral belief on your mother's side.
Okay.
So it's showing up as like an
Oh.
inherited belief
Mm-hmm.
down that side of the family, a belief of not being deserving.
Mm.
And it's specifically deserving rather than worthy.
Oh wow. It's an interesting choice too. That's deserving versus worthy. Mm.
I'm
Wow.
trying to find out. And it's interesting. I'm getting that somebody did something wrong, maybe 6 generations back.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like the other people are atoning for this guilt
Oh wow.
without realizing they're doing it because it's inherited.
Yeah.
It's like this deep sort of sense of something being there, but not being conscious of it. And because it's not your stuff.
Oh wow.
So, do you have any idea of 6 generations back if there's anything going on?
Well, that would have been in 1700s, I guess, or early 1800s. Not that I know. Does it come up on my mom's side or her father's side?
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Let me ask. So, your mum, so you
Hmm.
come up, is shown father's side.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting because I don't know that much about my grandfather's side. Oh, actually, my great great. I mean, I don't know that much about them. So,
What I'm asking to be shown like what went on, and I'm seeing some kind of fight, and it
mhm.
feels more like a common fight rather than being at war or battle, like a
Yeah,
brawl.
yeah,
Feels like a brawl, and I see that. I feel like someone died, someone got
yeah.
killed.
I felt that too. When you said that, I started picking up murder or somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got
Oh, I've
that.
got shivers all over
Yeah.
as we talk about this. I feel that somebody did something wrong,
Hmm.
and the subsequent generations have been atoning for this guilt.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting because my grandfather's family, my great grandfather just abandoned them. The Francis, his last name was Francis, just abandoned them and left them all kind of on their own. And, the mother had to farm out her children. My great grandmother had to farm out her children. So, yeah, yeah,
Gosh.
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So, can we go in and release this deep pattern of guilt that's been passed down from generation to generation?
Yeah, it's interesting as you say all that. I started getting shivers and just feeling really depleted in a way, just like, oh, yeah.
Just
Oh,
We're going to bring a lot of unconditional love for all of your ancestors
Mhm.
that generation by generation have been atoning for someone else's action,
Yeah.
that have been carrying guilt for something they didn't do,
Mm-hmm.
have been feeling undeserving because of something they didn't do.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing a lot of unconditional love down that line all the way to you.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting because my great grandmother had a lot of children die just in weird ways, a lot of sadness and just hardness. Ah, that feels really different. Yeah.
And let's send a lot of unconditional love to your great grandmother for the losses that she
Mhm.
experienced, the sadness, the pain, the grief.
And it's interesting because in my office on my board, her name is Maggie. So yeah, I have her picture. Yeah.
Yeah. And let's
Ah,
honor her life.
mm,
And we're just going to unhook you from this pattern of undeservedness, of not deserving a good and easy life.
ah, mm.
What would be the opposite of this? How would you like to feel?
Just to have it easy, just things fall into place. Just kind of at the end of the day, just to feel happy and not tired and exhausted.
Mhm.
Not to have soreness in my body, just to feel really good and light and energized.
Let's bring this in now. And
Mm,
we teach you what it feels like to feel energized by life,
yeah.
to feel filled up, vibrant, and alive by life.
Mm,
And let's give you permission to feel light and happy and to experience things being easy and flowing and energizing.
mm.
What it feels like to experience things just falling into place. And that you're worthy and deserving of this experience, that you don't need to struggle, push, strive, or exhaust yourself to get the wins, to secure the victory, but that it can come to you gradually,
Ah,
gently, with ease, through attracting it because of who you are. And because you know that you deserve it, just because you're human.
mhm. Feels good.
And let's just bring in a lot of light and peace over your ancestors,
Mhm.
letting them know that we notice their contributions, that we honor them, ask
Mhm.
them to allow you to move forwards with freedom from
Mhm.
struggle, from self sabotage, from self punishment, from guilt.
Mhm.
Releasing this pattern whereby money and good fortune comes with pain. Clearing that, knowing it was just a symptom of feeling undeserving.
Mhm.
We're just releasing you from having to atone
Mhm.
for that crime that happened so many generations back on
Mhm.
your grandfather's side.
Mhm.
Just bringing peace and forgiveness there.
Mhm.
And just bringing peace into your life now. Setting peace for any struggles, accidents, disasters, problems that are currently playing out. Knowing that you are deserving of solutions, answers, resolutions, positive outcomes, ease and grace.
Ah,
Something shifting there.
yeah, yeah. Mm. Oh, yeah, all of a sudden I feel really cold. That's interesting. Yeah. It's like, wow. Oh. Mm.
How's this all
Oh.
landing with you?
Really good. Wow, it's interesting. I don't know how to describe it, but I feel like lots moving in my body.
Yeah.
Like lots, yeah, like lots moving and yeah, like a lot of letting go, especially my legs and my back, my hips. Yeah. Like lots of little things going in circles, maybe, you know, like
And I,
cells moving. Yeah.
I would allow this experience to continue,
Mm-hmm.
and know that you may feel tired
Mm-hmm.
after as the energy moves its way through, or you may feel energized as things
Mm-hmm.
leave, but
Mm-hmm.
just allowing this process to continue.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause it feels
Yeah.
like a draining of this old energy. It's almost like we're emptying it out so you can be you.
Yeah, it's interesting. It feels like it's going out of my body to my feet into the ground.
Mm,
It's going out like that way, like it's draining. Yeah. Wow. Oh, deep. Wow.
mm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of wild. Yeah. Just the physical sensation of it.
Can you
Uh,
test a belief for me? Do you feel ready to do that?
Let me see. Get up. Yeah, I already in now. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
I have to punish myself when things go well.
I have to punish myself when things go well. No.
Good,
Yeah,
good.
no. Yeah, big no.
I deserve a good and easy life.
I deserve a good and easy life. Let me see. I deserve a good and easy life. Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Okay, come and sit down.
Mm. Wow, I feel like lightheaded in a way. I was like, I gotta go eat and just get some food and nourishment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Go open that big picnic basket.
Yeah.
One thing I saw during that part of the session was the picnic basket just suddenly got a lot bigger. It went from being like a picnic basket for one or two to this giant family-sized picnic basket.
Oh, cool. Oh, I like that. Well, I love the Fortnum's picnic baskets, the hampers. So I visualize that. Just a big hamper from Fortnum's. Yeah, it feels good. Yeah, it really feels different. Like I feel different. My body feels different. Yeah.
This was big.
Yeah, it was. I feel like the cells firing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I feel like little cells firing off. Yeah. Yeah. That's really, yeah. Because I think that tiredness was a lot inherited too, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, not just physical, but
Yeah.
yeah, deep. Wow. Well, thank you. Ooh. Oh, well, thank you, Polly. Thanks so much. This was deep. This was probably the deepest. Yeah.
I would love to hear what you took away from today's episode. You can DM me on Instagram or comment on the post for this week's episode on Instagram. If you are curious to experience something like this for yourself, there's a number of ways you can work with me. As I mentioned earlier, Thrive Beautifully, my women's mastermind. I also offer one-to-one coaching, and I occasionally have a limited number of one-off private sessions. If you want to go deep on a topic like this today, you can DM me on Instagram or email support@pollyalexander.com and we'll get you hooked up with more info. Lastly, don't forget to join my free masterclass if growing your business and doubling your income is your goal. I can't believe it. We've done 99 episodes now. Now I'm planning something very special for the 100th episode, so I might take a little longer to birth it out into the world, but I can't wait to see you to celebrate 100 episodes of The Feminine Millionaire very soon. Have an incredible week. Bye for now.